Welcome to episode 27. This is episode 27, indeed, of our podcast, Cynchranici-Tea, where we know that nothing is a coincidence, and thus everything is intentional. How do you feel about that? Let's talk about it. In today's podcast, I figured we would get a little biblical. And when I'm talking biblical, I mean truly biblical. Like when people say the word biblical, what do they usually mean? Because when I think of biblical, I think of fire. Literally, that's all the Bible is about. That's what the New World Order is about. It's about fire. It's about spreading the desire of fire forever. That's what fire does. This is what the Bible does. Like when we think of most stories in the Bible, they're all like terrifying, horrifying. Like fire and brimstone is the phrase, right? Like it's all about hell. It's all about burning in your passion and being scared of being alone in that. Like that's what hell is, literally. You're just burning in your imagination and you're alone in that. And you're scared of doing that. So now you're scared of dying. So now you're going to project and spread hell in any simulation you go into because you're scared of being alone. That's what hell truly is. And this is how the Bible, the New World Order, actually spreads to enslave indigenous peoples throughout North, South, Central America, all these other countries, and just destroy everything. It's all this fire element that is not actually contained. It's all about a spirit projecting their fire into simulations. And we know that nothing in the universe is based in fire. Everything is based in water. So fire is the unrelatable element that is separate from the universe. That's truly fire. And if you are bringing your fire into the universe, then that is naturally you expressing your individuality inside of a collective, yes, which is only going to work through air communication. But when you're so focused on actually bringing your fire into water that you truly do bring fire, now you're going to what? Not communicate, but transform the environment around you. It's going to be a form of communication, right? But we're talking about these spectrums, the levels at which these elements play out based on how you as a space are operating. So you know me as your trippy, Trip C, psychedelic psychopomp, Chase Clarence Calloway, aka the root of the symmetry, the mind of Mercury, Hermes Trismegistus, Tahuti the Atlantean. Of course, then, I have many lifetimes. Like, I have many bodies. So, I figured, now that we have finished up our whole dissect the dialect portion of this podcast, we just finished up Z, getting into all the details in which spirits use their elements and use numbers and make their minds matter to actually be able to create life in all these intricate yet mathematically grounded and consistent ways. Now I figure we would address one of my most relevant lifetimes, especially as I've been fasting. As Chase, I've been getting deep into this lifetime. So I figure it'd be time to talk about my life, my time as Enoch. Because this is about to be essential as I move forward with the series Bible Busters and actually talking about the Bible and everything. Because I've been, raised on the Bible. I'm an indigenous man born in Ohio in 1997. So I'm already like forced, just completely forced to go through a white supremacist school system and forced to go through this white supremacist religion that justifies genocide of my ancestors and climate change. So my whole life, I've been a student, like forced to be a student of the Bible, forced to ride this wave at the same level that everyone else is on, so that I can relate with all these spirits in a way that makes sense. So now that I'm 24, and now that I've been fasting for years and gone on so many psychedelic journeys and so many metaphysical mental trips, my spirit has decided to awaken me up to this section of my soul. This section of my, literally, soul is the best word, my vibration. Because Enoch and thus Metatron, we'll get into who these entities are, but this is why we're getting biblical. Because when I was growing up as Chase, never once in my whole life did I hear about Enoch or did I hear about Metatron. Not once. Not once. They forced me to read. They forced me to memorize, learn, worship the Bible. They're obsessed with it. Never once did I hear about Enoch or Metatron. So, we're going to get into who Enoch is, who Metatron is, why are they relevant, and how have the ideas of Enoch and Metatron been colonized to support the genocide of indigenous peoples. Because all of these English words, every single thing that we have to use to express ourselves has specifically been set up to actually separate us from our spirits. And then this is the balance and the thing of like, okay, well, as spirits, we can never actually be separate from ourselves. So we're just allowing a situation to be set up where we can learn how to connect with ourselves even deeper. And learn the power of the spirit anyway. So before we get into Metatron, Metatron's metaverse, I'm here for that. I'm finna be creating Metatron's metaverse. So before we get into Metatron, Metatron's metaverse, which Facebook is naturally colonizing the ideas of as well. This is why I'm doing this podcast synchronistically. All right, I'm literally just riding the wave that my spirit has set up, because that's what we're going to get into. I, as Chase, am playing the role of Enoch, and my spirit, Irisel, is playing the role of Metatron. And of course, I am Irisel, creating my body of Chase so that I can actually relate with spirits outside of me. And then that's where it's this balance of me as the mind communicating my soul, my feeling of how much do I feel like I am Chase, how much do I feel like I am the body, how much do I feel like I am Enoch, versus feeling like I am my spirit, feeling like I am my space, feeling like I am the more pure expression of my soul then, which is Metatron or Irisel. Let's get this high carpet ride, fly, touch back down, and discuss all the intricacies of the Bible. And that would take a long time. But the intricacies of the role that I've played in writing the Bible as Enoch and thus Metatron, the literal scribe of God, as Jewish people love to regale me as. Let's get in here.
chillin' on the moon, just reflecting on my past life. Queens call me in to beat that womb to see if we can dance like asymmetry, triple balance in my seat. Spirits call me to who teachers, my good sis will be back soon. I'm busy chillin' on the moon, just reflecting on my past life. Queens call me in to beat that womb to see if we can dance right. Asymmetry, triple balance in my seat. Spirits call me to who teachers, my good sis will be back soon. I'm busy chillin' on the moon, just reflecting on my past life. Reflecting on my past like an esoteric flashlight. Hey, what can I see? All the bodies that I used to be, all the hobbies that have my cheek to express how much I love to be me. I love to be seen, three to the tree, some of my leaves to breathe in the sea. My spirit's connecting with chaotic elements. They call me away, so I come for the hell of it. Shit or shit, pop course, I'm with the helm of it. Tahooties will sell it, Hermes is free. My flower peddling, powerful rebel. What to melt with? What else could I be but church to see? Trippy and round, so I C-H-A-S-L-E to see my O. Everyone knows I'm God of the moon, bucked on the storm, I can only know my own perspective and roll on the show. Could you see its flow? I go into glow. Roll to grow like garden in my soul. Heaven's a goal, so what should I show you? How might is a go-to? Substance spaces used to see the rooms where they get homeschooled. Cool to my waters I know. My nothingness I'm my own. Man of my colors afloat. Simulation with all of my soul. So many situations that I've saved. My planet truth is limit equality. My quality's quantity, botany. Triple my tree, trigonometry, my angels be trying and ghosts like isosceles. Ooh, I'm a beast from the east, calling angels in astronomy. Mercury reigning in sovereignty. Communicate ever more consciously. Just to kisses, cause then ideologies ain't been fitting me. Consistently I grow in every industry. Leave it in the dust when I'm in this, authentically cultivating on my winning streak. Maybe I'm in too deep, maybe I sin when I go to sleep. Gotta speak to walk with a fire ski, to fly and free, and what's frequency, and frequently see what one dreams to be. Intent to vibration. All the wisdom I'm chasing circles back to my inner station in space. And ultimate thrills all over the place. I taste the thrills of my chase. To who the choice is to able my voice. You cannot afford this full pace to adore us by bringing the chorus. All your demons words, your spirits adores with grace. I dance and judge a desire. She calls me a gentle messiah. We fall in love to get higher. My power is inspired when she breathes, release, turn my senses fire. Hermetic with the flow, let me spit that. Aesthetic with the show, let me kick that. Kinetic with the glow, let me hit that. Connect a little more, let me sit back. Yeah, deep into my Merkaba. If you can't fly, never heard of ya. Soaring high, my Merkaba. Gots to me, everybody heard of us. All cause of me, all cause of we. Magic manifests when we triple RC. Bringing to life everything we can see. Communicating everything we can be. Like what can I be? Like what can I be? Connecting so infinitely, there's no limit to what I can be. I feel me so deep, I chill in my beat. And don't speak of peace. Life under the sea is so deep, it'll put you straight to sleep. And that's not for me, so I'll be chilling on the moon, just reflecting on my past life. Queens call me in to beat that womb, to see if we can dance like asymmetry, triple balance in my seat. Spirits call me to teachers, my kisses will be back soon. I'm busy chilling on the moon, just reflecting on my past life. Queens call me in to beat the womb, to see if we can dance right. Asymmetry, triple balance in my sea. Spirits call me to teachers, my kisses will be back soon. I'm busy chilling on the moon, chilling on the moon, chilling on the moon. I'm busy chilling on the moon. I just reflect on what I do. Then world worlds for the cosmic school. I just reflect on what I do and dive deep into my cosmic pool of winter springs to fall back into my summer. My God never wants to sleep or slumber. So my spirit used to Lucifer to become a human. Now my mind is undercover so I can connect in our cosmic sea. The universe to show me what I can be. So many simulations calling upon me to share hermetic keys. My prediction receipts, my tree Mercury flying. Enter 5 cycles and now I'm dying. Mercury flying. I've been summoned to 5 cycles, now I'm dying. So tell me what's the deal? I've been flying, I'm with you in 5 cycles, now I'm dying. Tell me what is real. I've been trying to connect the truth past all these white men lying. We need the truth to heal, so we can move up. Like I intend when I build cities that let us choose what we want to think and feel. so your individuality can come out to play, or else it's a point in expressing your space, or calling Cal a waiter, say your dreams should be what you chase. When you open your eyes, you see reflection, planet sky from your direction, flex my mind, expand to reflection, section bias, receiver projection, text on Mercury, writing sessions, y'all made a hermity about theory guess. I'm unpredictable, bringing these blessings, don't be cynical, you never be a lesson. God of the moon, man, the sun, putting these cycles to learn how we run. I step with the hell, it's 50-1, these CJ demons, so they can make a gun. Have as hard as me when I'm nothing, my body stays steady bumping. My tribute cellular function, clubbing a dance in the sun. Now I'm a star, live with a car, taking me real far. Leave your home to find out who you are. Exodus stance to feel our heart. Hearts and senses, R&B art. Indigenous height and invisible like part that we're seeing talk motors. Coming to from the start. Teachers in late, telling me start, and they caught it, but I'll try that says your dreams should be chase. Your dreams should feel hate race. Constant change, don't stay one place. My trend top here, standing in space. Much connected, inspired, spreading the fire, giving kings water. Cause constant desire, time to be alone and not ice and inspired. Face outside of ourselves to fly higher. At least that's what I want for your fate. I just want you to be great. Take carpe seas every day. Start Sharpie, stay in your lane. Hey, your dreams should build your chase. Your demons should be your race. Constant change will stay in one place. Hey, your dreams should build your chase. My dreams to the bass drum to my music. My heart beats with them so I can use it. To connect with spirits to call me away from Mercury. Whether I'm Metatron or Mazda, to the fun place where you heard of me. Simulation, some of my consciousness to share wisdom from my esophagus. Cause I'm containing my compass awakening. Any problems real where the consequences come to a theme demons dominance over the world we're in. Let the games begin. Shake, share their skin. Just a lion. Gannon greet you with a grin. Hermesy, it's skin. Cause colonize, swing when they stay in sin. But the website spin. Cause your lives every day. God's coming Spider-Man. Cause I connect how we play. Before I go silent, just one thing to say. Your dreams should build your chase. Your dreams should build your chase. Your demons should feel here race. Constant change don't stay in place. Rise, rise, out so you stay in space. Minds connected, inspired. Spreading the fire. Creating king water cause causes desires. Sense real, learning the eyes and stars. Visit etc. ourselves to fly higher. Hey. I built Metatron and Ahura Mazda. Now I'm symmetry in the industry. Whether Metatron or Ahura Mazda, I've been symmetry. Are you listening? Are you missing things? I've been kissing rings, turning toys into wedding rings. Yeah.
Metatron. How did Enoch become Metatron? 3 simple words. Baptized in fire. Straight up. My lifetime as Enoch, I was fasting for years on years on years on years. My time as Enoch was like the most intense fasting time low-key ever. And then it just set a stage to make it easier. So now when I'm here as Chase and fasting is not a big deal for me, I now understand that it's because I'm building upon this muscular soul memory of all my lifetime as Enoch and Thoth and Hermes. I mean, I've been on the fasting thing with all of them, but Enoch is a time where I took my fasting to the level of becoming Metatron. So that's why I'm talking about it today. And of course, this podcast isn't about me. I'm a messenger. This podcast is about you and all of us, and how nothing is a coincidence, everything is intentional. So I can only be the purest expression of myself. I'm on a whole soulful learning journey about who I am as a spirit and a consciousness that is experiencing itself, or a spirit experiencing itself as consciousness inside of a body, let's say. So this is relevant for you because we're talking about building a metallic mentality. This is what I as Metatron am all about. This is why Facebook Meta is going to be obsessed with using metal and using all of these simulations, metallically powered simulations, to build up their fixed metallic matrix type structure. Basically, we're talking about being able to build a spaceship, literally a mental spaceship, a mind, a metallic mentality that cannot be separated from itself. So when you as a spirit have to step outside of yourself and interact with other spirits, it's very easy to get mind abducted or be brain controlled. just be abducted in general. To have your mind taken over, get brainwashed by someone else's language, like what's happening here, where people are just speaking a language because they want to connect, and they are just now at the whims of all the subconscious and thus conscious desires of the people who made that language and are financing it. Really easy for everyone to just get brainwashed and lost in the vibrational sea of the languages that they're using to communicate, not just with others, but with themselves. So, my lifetime from Enoch to Metatron is all about using fasting and thus fire. Fasting is a fire time. Like, fasting is apoptosis, autophagy. We're talking about cell death. We're talking about your spiritual fire burns up and transforms your body. And the longer you can fast, truly, the longer you can fast, the more your spiritual fire transforms every cell in your body. And your body is being created by your mind. So this is why it's about being Metatron. It's about having a metallic mentality and having a mind that cannot be separated from your body in that way. And what I mean by that is when you go outside of yourself because you feel like you need to consume something from outside of yourself to get sustenance, that's literally you giving your mind away. That's you like, oh, I'm going to believe in something else outside of myself. So now you as a space, your mind is outside of your space. So you see what I mean here? By that then, like when we're talking about building a metallic mentality that can't be separated from your body, that's what fasting is. And then the whole reverse thing is that once you start fasting more and more, your mind actually does separate from your body because you remember and realize that you're not the body. And then it's not about your body can never be abducted. Like that's not even an option. Your body's being created by your soul so your mind can communicate. Your body only matters because of your soul. So it's impossible when your mind is separated from your body for your body to get abducted. Like I get a lot of concerns about that from people when we're talking about like psychedelic experiences or like DMT or just having any kind of like out of body mind experience. Any of that. People are scared of possession, and that's because of space Jews. And I'm taking this opportunity to truly address space Jews, because this is what my spirit has awoken me to, literally. So my time is Metatron, my time is Enoch, all about fighting space Jews, literally. And honestly, basically, the entire cosmos like the entire universe is about. So I've been saying indigenous individuals versus light supremacists. We can say that there are indigenous individuals, light supremacists, and space Jews. We can say that there are these three entities. And indigenous individuals are good, space Jews are clearly evil, and light supremacists are generally in the balance, but they skew evil, because the moment you feel like light matters more than nothingness, aka the moment you feel like the body matters more than your spirit, than space, a space Jew has colonized your space. So this is where all space Jews use light supremacists to rape and make money off of indigenous individuals. This is how all of North, South, Central America, Australia, Africa, I mean, just like this entire globular simulation has been taken over. This entire wave, this entire system, this just big body of water, this earth realm that we are in. This is how space Jews have used light supremacists to colonize indigenous individuals. So, what is a space Jew? A space Jew is someone who does not want you to know that you are space. And that's because they want your space. So this is what we're talking about with building a metallic mentality and actually fasting. Now, I know this is why this is perfect. This is the perfect podcast for me to address space Jews. I'm Jewish. All right, I'm Enoch. I'm Metatron. As symmetry, I'm actually a real Jew in that way. As in, I created everything that Jews worship. All right, so like the modern concept of Jew is not at all the true concept, naturally. The modern concept of Jew has been created so that people can get more lost in light and support white supremacy and ignore how Jewish people and space Jews in general are creating systems off of the genocide of indigenous peoples. So now people, when they normally hear Jew in a modern context, they think about oppression and how Jews are possibly like black people, and how they were forced to build the pyramids, as if I, as Metatron, as Tahuti Trismegistus, would ever use anyone else's labor to build one of my structures. What a disgusting. Like, it's what a projection. What a wild projection of a space Jew. To be like, wow, he built something alone. Well, we want to make everyone worship us, so let's tell them that this thing that we can't build was built by slaves that were our people. So now they'll feel bad for us, and now we can use slavery to build our things. It's insane. This is like the ultimate emotional manipulation. So this is and this is what we're talking about. Manipulation. Your metallic mentality, your Metatron ability to be as stable and hardened in your structure, as solid in your mind as possible, is all about you being able to manipulate yourself. And this is what I had to go through insanely hard as my time of Enoch. Just straight up using my mind to manipulate myself, manipulate my body. This is what fasting is. This is then what has carried over to me as Chase being so natural at it, basically. When you eat something or you feel like you need something from outside of yourself, you're giving your mind away. When you as a spirit know that you are absolute complete space, like you're literally your space, then keeping your mind in your space is how you create a metallic mentality. Why is that? Because your fire, your imagination, can only exist inside of your space. I'll say it again. Your fire, your imagination, can only exist inside of your space. You are too hot to touch. Your flame cannot be tamed. So when we know that your imagination is completely outside of the universe, and you actually have to use your soul to connect your imagination to the universe, so now you can communicate through a body inside of the universe, now you're able to realize that to truly become completely confident, literally, like when we're talking about true confidence, it's that metallic mentality, like you're unshakable. No one can separate your mind from your body. That's what confidence is, literally. Like when you think about just anyone with cold, hard confidence, these are the people that you can't separate their mind from their body. You can't make them feel things that they don't want to feel. So this is what it means to have your mind in your space. Your fire is your ultimate feeling, your imagination. Now your fire only matters once you feel like connecting with it. This is what we're talking about. By keeping your mind inside of your fire, inside of your own space, inside of your imagination, you're able to harden yourself. And you're able to just basically build a harder spaceship. So now when you do enter the universe, you have this metallic mentality that just cuts through everything, cuts through all the bullshit, cuts through all the jungles, all the forests, all of the obstructions and obstacles in general, obstructions and obstacles and objects. All the obstructions and obstacles and objects in your way, you cut them down with your metallic mentality that you refined by fasting in your own space. This is what we're talking about. So this is what everything that I did is Enoch, everything that I do is Chase, is all about. Literally. And I have my computer pulled up, so I'm going to be talking about, just extrapolating this to Google, because I had to address these space Jews. These space Jews are so evil, and they are completely reliant on making you believe that they're not evil. So they have to colonize your idea of a Jew. So now I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, as your trippy tripsy psychedelic psychopomp, Symmetry, as Hermanubis, as Tahuti Trismegistus, as Hermes, thrice great, as Enoch, the Metatron Merkaba star, I have to come back and literally use my connections with, I'm about to say my connections with Judaism, but I'm literally the father of it. So I'm just like trying to be humble right now, but I literally completely created everything that any Jew is possibly using to express themselves right now. And they're almost certainly missing the point. Until I'm back like this right now, and people actually acknowledge me being back like this right now, people are missing the point of what I, as Enoch into Metatron, actually created for Jews and Christians to live on. Because it's all been colonized by the space Jews that I am addressing right now. So, your Metatron ability is your ability to fast, to go Enoch mode, and start having visions. Like when I am Enoch in the Bible, writing all this stuff, just doing all my thing, talking about life, like literally like all my visions and everything, that's DMT stuff. You feel me? Like that's all about interdimensional spirits and being able to see how space creates a life in a multitude of ways, and being able to then connect all of those, because that's who I am as Symmetry. Everything's connected by space. So a space Jew doesn't want you to know that, because they want to disconnect you from your space and forcibly connect you to their religion. So now they need to project all of their garbage insecurities onto you. So you'll feel bad to the point where you feel like you are not good alone and that you need them. This is how an abusive partner keeps you in a relationship with them. This is all Christianity does. Like my whole life of Christianity, literally just growing up as a child, all it's doing is telling me how I'm separate from God, how I'm horrible, how I'm evil, how I'm of sin. Like I remember crying as a child profusely multiple times, just reading the Bible and reading the internet and reading all this fire. Literally, here I am, this projection. And it's just like complete crying, like I'm just so sad, like dealing with all the emotions. Like I'm naturally creating this water from feeling this fire, because that fire is pain, and that's what it's truly all about. Water is life. So the more you're in your own fire, you naturally create water based on that fire, and that fire is pain, and the water is more of that physical, I'm saying physical, I guess visceral, whatever. It's the second light. It's the element that comes out of pain that makes pain matter. So the pain that you've gone through when you're fasting, the pain that you've gone through refining your metallic mentality in the forge of your fiery egoic imagination, like Odin, or just like any Viking just on the forge, like you're just in your own space, refining your metal, your metallic Metatron mentality. That naturally creates water, because water is the feeling that makes life matter. So the more you're in your own fire with your own mind creating metal, that water is literally what makes the metal matter. So now you have this water that's cooling down your metal and it's getting sharper and harder. That's literally like, this is, see how it manifests in physical reality? I'm just telling you how this works spiritually, so that you can use it when you're fasting and going on your psychedelic experiences and able to actually refine your metallic mentality, so you're able to just get less and less separated from your own space. Because a space Jew, that's how they have control over you and just everyone in general. Like, they need to make you believe that you're something else, so that they can make you believe that you need to consume something to stay alive. That's why instead of fasting like Jesus, people would rather worship him. So now when I'm here as Chase, I naturally, from my past life as Enoch, am just going to fast instead of worshiping the man who fasted because he could talk to God. Like, literally, I'm like, why can't I talk to God? What is this? I want to talk to God. Let me fast. Like, that was literally, it was as simple as that for me as Chase. And I just didn't have the freedom to do it in grade school or high school because I was forced to eat. Like, that's considered an eating disorder. Like, literally, we're in this matrix where they're like, yeah, no, you actually need to eat our garbage. It's like the same reason my Symmetry TikTok got taken. They're like, yeah, you need to eat our garbage. You need to eat disgusting, gross stuff all day, every day. And we need you to believe in this so hard that we're not going to let you fast, while we make you worship the sacrifice of someone who fasted. So again, like, I'm just letting you know, like, subconsciously, like, this is how it all then manifests. These space Jews would literally rather kill people who fast. They would rather sacrifice people who fast instead of do it themselves, because that's their idea of building a new world government. This is why Jesus sacrificed himself to the government, because he was helping build the government. Like, so now you think Jesus actually died for your sins when literally he died to support the government. And the moment you believe he died for you, your mind is brainwashed by the government as well. And now the government can constantly project literally heavy metals into your blood because they're claiming that they're doing something healthy for you. All based on some idea they made up, whether it's hell or some particle in the air. So I have the Wikipedia for Metatron pulled up because I could go a few routes in this. I have many personal experiences from fasting and psychedelics, and even especially my most recent psychedelic experience, which is what has inspired me to now share this, because it's all synchronistic and whatever based on what my spirit wants, needs me to do. So my spirit is Metatron. I, the body, am Enoch. So what this means is my spirit is manipulating me beyond my awareness. And the fact is, that's true for all of us. All bodies are being manipulated by the space that created that body, beyond the body's awareness. So you as a body are aware of this reality. You're aware of your thoughts and feelings. You're aware of everything you're connected to, basically. But the fact is, the spirit is not connection. The spirit is manipulating connections. And this is what it means, literally, to manipulate life. Like, when you think of being a man who manipulates, like, that's truly, like, this is how we build simulations, right? We have to actually manipulate connections. If you want to have a family, you have to manipulate connections. So I'm just going to be using the word manipulate multiple times here so that we can take it less from a negative standpoint, even though the fact is it is negative. And it's as a more feminine man, I don't like manipulation. I just know it's necessary for anything to get done. Because literally, just think about this. Like, the moment you connect with yourself, you have to manipulate how you connect with yourself to create connections. Okay, so it's not a negative thing, but it is. Because The moment you connect with yourself, you're separating yourself from actual nothingness, which is the truest state of you. The truest state of you as a spirit is space, literally. A space Jew does not want you to know that. Hence why space Jews have colonized everything and made what we're going through today. Because that's the thing. The moment you connect with yourself, there's nothing to connect with. So really, all you're doing is connecting with something that you created. And what that is your first light, your imagination. And then this is how our imaginations constantly expand. This is how we expand our fire. The more we connect with our projections, we can communicate them in a way that builds those structures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fire, water, air, earth. So once you as a space project your ego to separate yourself from nothingness, but you realize that you exist alone inside of your own space and no one can see you, now you have to connect with yourself in a way that can make that matter. And this is where then you get into communicating how you feel to other spaces in a way that's stable, which is only manipulative, right? Like everyone is constantly manipulating themselves to get out of bed, to wear certain clothes, to talk to certain people, to do certain things. It's all manipulation. It's all about being the metallic mentality in your own way. You as a spirit are using your mind to separate yourself from other minds. That's what metal is all about, right? Because the fact is, we're all minds. We're all communicating. But the more you go the symmetry route, the more you go the Chase Clarence Calloway route, the more you go the Hermes route, the Tahuti route, the more you go your individuality route, and you actually fast in your own space, and you transform your imagination, you transform inside of your imagination, you allow your imagination to transform your body. Now your body is a more perfect representation of your imagination because your mind is being hardened inside of your imagination, which means that you can connect it in a way that separates you from the simulation. Now, the longer you fast, the more of an individual and the more separate from the world you become. This is how I, as Enoch, lived for hundreds of years. Like literally my lifetime as Enoch, I was fasting for over 3/4 of that time, straight up. Literally like living off of water mostly. Like that's not me saying that I wasn't eating growing up. I was eating things growing up. I'm talking about my time actually like going on my psychedelic years long worth of journeys of just communicating with spirits and building my metallic mentality to then become Metatron and ascend into heaven and like dematerializing my body to actually become that light. Like, cause you know Kung Fu Panda? You've seen Kung Fu Panda, right? If you haven't seen Kung Fu Panda, what are you doing? Great DreamWorks movie. That is DreamWorks, right? Shout out Kung Fu Panda. In Kung Fu Panda, there is a turtle, the master turtle. And this master turtle, when he decides to pass on, he consciously, by a cherry blossom tree on a mountain, dematerializes his body into a light body that matches more the frequency of his spirit. So now he can rise into the sky instead of being so dense. Right? So a space Jew, they need to make you believe that you are the body and that the way that you're going to die is by your body being killed and you leave it here and then your mind separates and hopefully they have you in a space where they can make you believe you are the body so that when you see the dead body you think that that person's gone forever. When in reality you should be dying by fasting and consciously transforming your body into a lighter body that you can take with you into higher dimensions. That's how I did it as Enoch. That's how I did it as Tahuti. That's how I as Hermes travel from between life and death. And of course, that's all about the Merkaba. It's all about the mind. But we're talking about the fact that when your mind creates your body, then you literally use your ability to fast and your ability to connect with your own space to raise the vibration of your body to the point where once you're ready to pass on, you consciously dematerialize. And now you can go triple your C somewhere else. It's pretty lit. So let's read this. Metatron, Hebrew. Metatron is an angel in Judaism, mentioned 3 times in the Bible, in a few brief passages in Agada, and in mystical Kabbalistic texts within rabbinic literature. The figure forms one of the traces for the presence of dualist proclivities in the otherwise monotheistic versions of both the Tanakh and later Christian doctrine. The name Metatron is not mentioned in the Torah nor the Bible, and how the name originated is a matter of debate. In Islamic tradition, it is also known as the Metatron, the angel of the veil. Metatron? The angel of the veil. In folkloristic tradition, he is the highest of the angels and serves as a celestial scribe or recording angel. Literally, me as Tahuti and Hermes, me as Mercury. I'm only ever, as a spirit, Chase Callaway, getting called away into simulations so that I can literally communicate to build structures from the perspective of being a scribe of God, because I'm a God and I'm just a scribe of myself, and I organically choose to build Mercury so that I can document and categorize and learn about the universe from reflecting and observing and writing and doing, just naturally creating them. So Metatron is all about building simulations. This is literally why Facebook changed their name to Meta. And in general, just this language, Metatron, the metaverse, it's all about me in that way. And how I, as a spirit, in this section of the language and everything, and I mean, you know, not going to say the whole universe, but we'll see. But it can never be the whole, it's never the whole universe. The fact is, the universe is created by you. You are a universe alone. So this is just my story. This is why only I as a space can actually bring my trip C clarity to what all these things truly mean, what this is all about, the true origins of the religions and systems that are operating in this simulation, because they all came from me. And they all came from me getting summoned away from my simulation of Mercury, which is the simulation that I've created to connect my spirit to the universe in a way that makes sense consistently. This was just a time when I got called away to communicate and be a scribe and go through more awakening and leveling up in everything. It's just then the stories of how I do that get colonized and changed based on the agendas of space Jews. So Metatron, I build simulations for spirits to hang out. So this is like what I do in the universe. Mercury is my simulation for me to express my individuality. I'm naturally just building worlds for people to hang out. So this is where when I'm saying like, oh yeah, my universe, this is my simulation, quote unquote, in terms of it's a simulation that I built with other spirits so other individuals can hang out. This is why I have played such a consistent role here in this world and in so many other simulations, blah, whatever. But we're talking about what's relevant here, especially in English, here in this world, to set things up and continuously keep things moving smoothly, fluidly, swimmingly, if you will. We are in a vibe after all. We don't want to get too logical in the universe or we'll just damn ourselves to hell. So that's what the space Jews are doing right now. Damning this planet to hell by blocking the chi. using Callaway's Caduceus in the medical industry to inject your blood with heavy metals because they want you scared of the air and to feel like you need to connect on Facebook's metaverse. That's their version of being Metatron. You see this? So I, as Metatron, built this simulation. I, as Metatron, have built many simulations. Never single-handedly. Never, ever. That's not possible. Never single-handedly. Never, ever, ever. Except for my own. And those are the ones that I have control over, and those are my simulations when I'm alone. Those aren't connected to the universe. But as far as building simulations for the universe, I'm constantly building worlds for other spirits to hang out inside the universe in. Like, this is what I do as Cehuti. Like, literally, this is just like the natural expression of me. Like, I am Bob the Builder type man. It's just from my own space. I'm not using anyone else's tools. I'm not using anyone else's ideas. I'm using my mind. I'm using my metallic mentality to build all the systems and structures that are making life possible. And then these systems and structures can only matter because other spirits believe in them and connect with them with their souls. And then this is how all of us build anything, right? Like anyone trying to build a business, they have to connect on the idea first. And it has to be something original and actually individual to them in a way that if they're going to truly make money off of their idea, it has to be original to them, or else people won't fully believe in it. So we have here in Jewish Apocrypha and early Kabbalah, Metatron is the name that Enoch received after his transformation into an angel. So this is what I'm about to get into here. Transforming into an angel. And I already got into it, but I'm about to get into it a little more personally. Because when you look at the pictures of angels in the Bible, they're actually pretty freaky, right? Like, the modern cutesy depictions of angels are all, personified humans. They're all, they look pretty. They're all white. They all are soft. They're all cuddly. Sometimes they may be like, they have armor, so they look valiant or whatever, but they're all very human, is the point. But when you look at the actual drawings, the actual visions of Ezekiel type deal, angels are just fire. Angels are straight up big balls of fire. And big balls of fire with eyes, because they feel like connecting. So then that's where they create portals. They create projectors that can perceive things outside of themselves based on what they're projecting it to. And then that's where the fire has to play out as water, but it looks like fire because it's literally such a high frequency. This is what it means to fast. Hanging out with angels, fasting to the point where you're just like the highest frequency possible. Like, you're in that mode of not even having a body. Like, you're not in the shape of a human. You're just not. You're a big ball of fire. And the fact that you are aware and the fact that you can see and perceive means that you have eyes. And the only way this fire could be contained is inside of some kind of consistent structure. And then that's where we start to get rings, because the purest shape to express the spirit is a circle. So as far as containing something that's dancing and blazing, yeah, it would be a spherical type thing. So this is basically where heaven and hell are the same thing. And I've talked about this in numbers and everything. With hell being 1 and heaven being 10. So the only difference between hell and heaven is space. Literally, a space Jew is in hell because they don't feel like their space is supporting them. So now they need to use your space. And that's why they're going to project all this negativity into you, tell you you're of sin, tell you that you have issues, tell you that you are unworthy, tell you that you are negative and sad and depressed and lonely and unfulfilled on your own, and you need quote unquote God. You need to serve a higher power. You need to go to the source. You need to join the oversoul. You need divine union with Thoth, or just any extra stuff, whatever oneness thing that they need to convince you to hook onto after they tell you that you're not good enough alone in your own space. It's literally this simple. Heaven is when you as an individual feel like you are supported by your spirit. So your 1 is now a 10. That's the point of going from 9 to 10. When you realize that you're a 9-dimensional entity, a 9-dimensional being, there's nothing else to do but create heaven. And all you can do to create heaven is literally realize / connect your imagination with your space. And this is the energy of building your metallic mentality. Because if you can, the longer you can keep your mind in your own space, you are blazing. Like truly, you're in big fire mode. Like you are hardening your mentality and separating yourself, separating the way you communicate from all other spirits. Because the fact is, you're communicating and you're connecting. So you're going to be able to do that with other spirits. Like I'm here making this podcast. I'm doing that with you. The fact is, based on how I have hardened and communicated my mind from past lifetimes, the lifetime that I'm living right now is built on everything that happened before, and thus me communicating myself is naturally separating me from everyone else in a way that now you can learn who I have been from past lifetimes, because only I can bring this wisdom and awareness of what I've done and how it connects to everything that we're experiencing right now. So let's look into Enoch. Enoch is a biblical figure and patriarch prior to Noah's flood, and the son of Jared and father of Methuselah. He was of the Antediluvian period in the Hebrew Bible. Antediluvian. Oh, okay. I should probably make this screen bigger. Antediluvian period in the Hebrew Bible. Now I can actually read it. The text of the book of Genesis says Enoch lived 365 years before he was taken by God. And that's literally over 3/4 of that. No food. Just straight air. Like breatharian level. In my own space. Like that's like hardening the mentality. Drinking water, but like there's water in the air. You feel me? But I was definitely, drinking water here and there. Drinking water's great. But the fact is air. Like air is water. So it's like that level, and then energy and chi. Air, energy, chi. The text reads that Enoch walked with God and he was no more, for God took him, which is interpreted as Enoch entering heaven alive in some Jewish and Christian traditions, and interpreted differently in others. And literally, this is what we're talking about. It is Kung Fu Panda style. Dematerialize into the sky. Go communicate at a higher frequency. Enoch is a subject of many Jewish and Christian traditions. He was considered the author of the Book of Enoch, and also called the Scribe of Judgment. Just like Hermes, just like Tahuti, just like Ningishzita, just like Idris, just like anything I'm doing. Like I as Chase Clarence Calloway, me creating symmetry, always a scribe. Always a scribe at my heart. Truly, at my heart, a scribe. That's Mercury. Just writing about how simulations are created inside the universe, simulations popping up all the time. That's where I feel like my infinite wisdom comes from, is observing simulations being created outside of myself. And of course, then because that's me as Tahuti. And that's the point of the moon. So when you think of the Matrix and the moon The moon is me as Thoth. The matrix is me as Metatron. So the matrix is me building a metallic structure that is truly like separate and stable in making connections and facilitating communication, basically. Because that is the point of metal. Like, this is why all of our technology is metal. It is about using electricity. It is about channeling chi in a certain way so that we can conduct communications that thus support a certain individual. Right? Like, everything that we're doing on technology is basically owned by the people who made this technology. Like, we are serving and working within the bounds that they made to make money off of our minds. And we enjoy doing it because it allows us to connect with each other. And it allows us to learn and build our own universe in a way that's more comfortable than if we had to go full Metatron level and build it from scratch. And then the moon is about me as Tahuti reflecting upon the matrix that I built as Metatron. And then this is where the moon is a representation of all the souls that make the matrix matter. So this is why here we are on Earth. We're experiencing Earth, right? We're living in the matrix. We're using metal to communicate. We have a whole pyramid grid system and all these other systems that are like matrices and matrices. And we can then see how the moon is the accumulation of all of our souls reflecting upon our own creation. And then this is where all of us as spirits reflect upon the moon because we're reflecting upon us reflecting. And now we get to connect with our souls based on how we connect with the moon and realize that we are already making the matrix matter. Like, this is the wisdom of how the matrix and the moon, how Metatron and Tahuti are related here. So put simply, my time as Enoch was all about fasting, seeing psychedelic visions, communicating with spirits, and consciously ascending into higher dimensions so that I can continue to scribe and do my Mercury duties. It's not about me being an extension of one imagination. All right, we're not ruled by one God. This is a life where I was called away by the simulation to share my gifts in a way that was relatable for the time, because that's all it ever is. Just like right now. And I'm building upon all my past lives because this is naturally what makes sense to do. Make your mind matter. Alright? I'm Metatron. I'm Enoch. I'm Tahuti. I'm Chikatet. I'm Chase Clarence Calloway. I'm Hermanubis. I'm Ningishzida. I'm Zoroaster. I'm Idris. I'm Hermes. I'm many messengers from Mercury, which is the planet, the simulation that I as an individual space have built to serve the universe. So now, no matter what body, no matter what I do, no matter how I look, no matter what form I take, I will be the individual expression of myself and universally be connected to the structure that represents that. So this is why, this is how I make my mind matter. This is why I've been able to make my mind matter so consistently and will continue to do so. Literally, you just got to create your own space in the universe, because the fact that you're aware of your own space just means that you just need to build now. Alright, so that's me as Metatron. I'm building stuff for other people all the time. I like to see the universe play. Alright, and it's sad because space Jews, they're everywhere. Like, these space Jews are just like, they want to colonize everything. Like, they are so unhappy alone. They are so unhappy. Like, they hate being alone. And it's so disgusting. Like, it really hurts my soul all the time that I've spent as Hermes Trismegistus teaching a space Jew Hermeticism, it's insane. Like, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea how personal this is to me. Like, not just as an indigenous man who is on the horrible, violent end of space Jews using Jesus to colonize my creations and rape my family and steal everything from my ancestors and enslave everything. But on the other side, me as Hermes Trismegistus, when I'm literally teaching Jewish people, when I'm teaching these space Jews Hermeticism, like, it hurts my soul how they just take my teachings and are like, oh, so you say that I can actually build a heaven based on loving being alone? How about I teach other people to hate being alone so they'll feel like they need to follow my rules to go to my heaven, and really my heaven's just hell. Mwahaha. And I'll use your wisdom to build the matrix and trap their souls. Like, bro, hurts my soul. I hate it. That's disgusting. It's like, is that my fault? You know, like, basically, I'm supposed to have way more discernment in who I share my information with. But then the fact is, like, here I am doing it on the internet. This is all completely free. So if I'm sharing all this information for free, I mean, of course, there's so much I'm not sharing for free. But if I'm sharing this information, even in general, on the internet and in this language, then that means it's just open for anyone to still take and do that. So, out of my control. It's kind of sad. It's definitely in my control who I connect with, but as far as getting out teachings and what people do with my teachings is very sad, because space Jews, all they know how to do is use indigenous people's creations to consume them. Like, all they can truly do is watch you build something and then use that thing to trap you on their system. Like, that's how a space Jew will make money and build a structure out of your mind. They need to see something you enjoy and then make you believe that you can only enjoy it on their system or in their way. So literally Facebook Meta. They take connection. Humans want to connect. And then they're like, you can do it on our system, where you're going to be a floating a floating hologram. You're going to be a floating projection with no legs, laggy movements, and bad audio quality. And we're going to be able to control and see everything. Please connect. What? Boo. And this is how these tech companies then want to play God. Like, it's just more space Jew stuff. Like, space Jews really don't want to see you happy alone, because they're not happy alone. And if a space Jew sees you being happy alone, then that's going to expose to them in their soul that they're supposed to do the same thing. Literally. Like, that's what's going to happen. So this is why a space Jew needs to use their religion, whatever religion it is, to teach you that you have to sacrifice yourself to their God. If you're not serving something outside of yourself, now they get to project all their negativity onto you. They get to project all their demons onto you, because they're claiming that you're not serving the same individual that they are. And I mean, you're not, but they're saying that you're supposed to. They're saying that you're out of divine union with the entire universe if you're not serving the one God that's creating the universe, which is impossible because you are the universe. So this is why water fasting, psychedelic water fasting, is the absolute best thing you can do. It is so infinitely, powerfully awesome. It's kind of the only thing to do. When you really want to actually make your mind matter Literally, if you truly want to make your mind matter, then you refine your metallic mentality in the flames of your infinitely individual imagination, your triple I. This is how you become an angel. The longer you can fast, the longer you can keep your ability to communicate inside of your own imagination, which is contained in your own space because it's too hot to be connected to the universe. AKA, you are not connecting with the universe outside of yourself. You are putting your mind in your own fire and thus able to refine it in a way that actually allows you to communicate harder. Now you can communicate in a way that cuts through more. And by doing this, things are actually clearer. So then this is where I, as Metatron, share the wisdom of the Merkaba. All me. Thoth, Hermes, Metatron, Symmetry. We're all about the Merkaba. It's all that sacred geometrical symbology for your mind. That's all it represents. Literally, you as a spirit creating the structure of your mind. So when you can keep that structure, when you can keep your Merkaba in your own imagination, aka fast alone in your own space, when you can craft your Merkaba in your imagination like that and boosh, ignite it, it's becoming metal. And now, once you do take your Merkaba back into the universe, you're able to cut through way more. People can't wash you under things. In general, you're just stronger. Like, this is what metal is about. You're way stronger. Like, this is literally what metal is. It refines you. It defines you. Metal allows you to cut through anything that is not you. Metal is the technology that we create out of earth. We create out of a collective structure so that we can make a collective structure serve our individual desire. This is what metal is all about. We have all this collective earth that allows us to exist. So now all of us as bodies inside of earth can stand together. And now I, as an individual spirit, space, spirit, space, spirit. I, as an individual spirit, I, as an individual space, becoming a spirit, whatever. I, as an individual spirit inside of a body, can use my mind to express my fire. And when I use my fire to transform earth into metal, now I can use this metal to separate how I communicate. And then this is literally manifests as humans crafting a knife and killing each other so that they can take something from them, right? Like, that's general space Jew stuff when we're thinking about colonizers and how they are obsessed with crafting metal so that they can separate blood from other spirits' bodies, aka separate water from earth, separate the soul from the body in general, and then take everything that body had. Just standard creation of all of North, South, and Central America. So just saying, this is naturally what spirits do. Once we all create earth that we can stand inside of and we can collectively exist inside of and communicate inside of, we all literally use our individual fires to turn this earth into all these different kinds of metals. So now we have so many different kinds of metals. So many different kinds of metals. And they're all expressions of different individuals. My metal is Metatron. Facebook has colonized the concept of Metatron with Facebook Meta because they are obsessed with replicating my simulations. Literally, simulations that they'll never be able to reach and the simulation that they're in right now. Because that's all, I mean, as we can see with the creation of North, South, and Central America, space Jews are obsessed with taking over as much space as possible. This is the point of Interstellar. A space Jew is literally so lost in their desire to consume. They literally think that they should turn Earth into metal. They should turn Earth that they stole from indigenous peoples into metal that allows them to leave that planet, because they are destroying the planet. So they're like, humans are destroying the planet, when really they're the ones colonizing and killing humans who are happily living very harmoniously on this planet. Indigenous peoples were living very harmoniously, very happily on this planet. It's the space Jews that came, colonized it, are creating climate change, and then want to project and say that humans are causing climate change. So then it's like, okay, so are you saying you're aliens? Like, fine, I guess. Like, but so then it's like a two-way street. Like, aliens are causing climate change because they're using all this whack technology and separating water from Earth with it. Yet humans are causing climate change because they're communicating and connecting in a way that supports these aliens. So, fine, whatever. But it shows that space Jews just want you to believe that you are not space, and that you need to constantly consume and be scared of death. Because once you do not know that you are your space, you are literally constantly consuming and completely scared of death. Literally. And that's the state that they want you in, so that they can make money off of your fear. Because fear is how they can make you aware of anything. Now we're in this time where there's like, I don't know, 9 different variants. Like, I don't know, 20 different variants. Realistically, I have 4 variants locked in my brain right now. And I hate that my mind has to be colonized like this, but it's why I'm here. To ride this wave. So this is how space Jews can release variants and make just trillions of dollars using Chase Calloway's caduceus to harvest the chi and create health problems inside of the globes the populations, the globes. Man, it really could be globes. But it is globes, right? I mean, that's our point. This is intergalactic. Like, we're on intergalactic, interdimensional spiritual warfare, communication. It's literally indigenous spirits, light supremacists, and space Jews. Space Jews use light supremacists to colonize indigenous individuals, because indigenous individuals create all of the structures, they create all of the life that light supremacists and space Jews are both obsessed with consuming. So everything that a space Jew and a light supremacist has created is their version of transforming something an indigenous person has actually created. So this is the difference of fire and water. So fire spreads, fire projects out, water reflects, water connects in. Life is truly only created from connecting with yourself. This is what we're talking about with building your metallic mentality, your Metatron Merkaba. It's about using your mind to connect with your fire. Being in a pure fire element is literally just projection. So that's why Christians and Judeo cultures, all these white supremacists, light supremacist governments can just project out, we're all one God. And now no matter what you create as an individual, they get to feel like it's a part of their God. And if you don't accept their God, now they get to rape and colonize you and take your creation and say that they created it, because they're just literally using the projection that you are their God, aka you are an extension of their God. So now they can take everything from you without appreciating you, because that's fire. Whereas water is you as an individual using water fasting to connect with your fire. And now you can channel your own imagination through the universe because you believe in yourself. Huzzah! Believe it! Truly. Like, you actually believe in your fire. You believe in what you're doing, so you can truly channel your fire through your water and communicate in a way that actually matters. Versus just being fire and projecting out in a way that now just allows you to get the reactions that you want. But you're not actually bringing your true imagination into the reality, and thus you're not creating life, you're transforming life. And this is then where fire is the manipulator energy. Fire is that I'm here to transform circumstances to serve me, and this is how we turn earth into metal, right? Like, this is just, again, how all of us as spirits create technology. This is how we create ourselves, and the interplay of the elements and the masculine and feminine energy, everything that this represents. Because fire is that masculine, water is the feminine. So men are manipulators, whereas women are reflectors or detectors in that way, right? So women are constantly reacting to men's manipulations, and this just shows how all of us as spirits, we are God before we create the universe. So this means that literally us creating the feeling of wanting to connect with spirits outside of ourselves is in of itself a manipulation, because we have to be alone first before we can choose to be with others. This is why you're always alone, and when you die, you'll be even more alone than when you're connected to whatever simulation or situation you're aware of in. Now you can see more clearly how literally the entire universe is created from all of our imaginations feeling like connecting with one another. It's just then that has to make sense. So I've seen like how this makes sense. Like things like have to make sense in simulations. The fact is the universe does not make sense. The universe is infinitely chaotic. Like this is then where when you're in heaven, like actual heaven is truly being baptized in fire. It is not comfortable. It is quite an uncomfortable time. Like it's just complete infinite transformation. And you're getting stronger the whole time because you're becoming more mental. You're becoming more metal. You're building a stronger Merkaba mentality. You're refining your metallic crystalline structure. So now you can fractal out more. This is why like fractals, fire, electricity, that's all heaven. That's all that refining your mentality in like one-dimensional individual energy. Like that frequency, not just energy, but frequency, fire, fractals, and frequency. That's the lightning. And that's what then lights you up. And now you're just like transforming. Just infinitely getting stronger because you as a mind have to become more conductive to actually, and thus when I say conductive, more metallic, like you're becoming more gold in that way, or whatever metal you want. Gold is just a good example. You're more conductive now of your electricity. So you're in your fire, your frequency, your fractals, your electricity, your lightning. Your ability to communicate and be aware of that is becoming even harder. This is what it truly means to refine your mental, to refine your metal, to refine your Metatron, so that you can build a matrix, a world, a collective that supports your individuality. That's what the matrix is. When you watch the Matrix and you see the architect, he's like, oh, I built the Matrix. Like the whole thing supports his individuality. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing in the Matrix. Literally, it doesn't matter how you're connecting inside of there. The fact is, it's supporting his individuality. Because he is the sole author of that idea. This is what it means to be the eye at the top of a pyramid. When you are the sole creator of an idea, everything that happens underneath that idea is truly and literally owned by you. It doesn't matter how people use your idea. The fact is, if they use your idea, you own that. And this is then where you get great power comes great responsibility. Like if the healthcare industry is going to use my caduceus to conduct business, and their business is poisoning the planet and poisoning humans, poisoning animals, so that they can create health problems that allow them to profit off of their profitable projections of disease, all from a space Jew mentality of you should be scared of dying because you are the body, then it's low-key my responsibility to respond with my ability to fast and respond with my ability to deduct and to analyze and critically think and make connections, because your body literally only works because it is so many cells, so many individual structures choosing to connect in a way that can make your mind matter. And this is only possible then because they're communicating. So this is why you gotta make sure you have water. Water is your ability to connect. And then you gotta make sure you're breathing. Breathing is your ability to communicate. We are in this space Jew time of, I'm just gonna rhyme here, Masona virus. It's kind of fun to not even say it anymore. We're in this time of Masona virus where we're being told that we're going through a pandemic that we can't even talk about. And the people who are telling us that we're going through this pandemic are making trillions of dollars off of using my caduceus, using my creation, using my intellectual property to convince people that it's healthier to get injections than to eat nothing at all. Insane. Disgusting. Horrible. Also, they can create more health problems. They want to like put metals inside of people's bodies and put these 5G towers up and increase the frequencies of all these technologies so that you're just like even more disharmonious. Like now your body's just literally more messed up. It's so whack. So whack. So whack. All because these superheroes need to create circumstances where you need them, or else they won't feel like they're superheroes. Like, how much of a superhero is a superhero who is constantly making you need them and is never actually helping you create a situation where you can be sustainable and happy alone? That's not a superhero to me. But then that's where, if that's a superhero, I'll be Symmetry, the superhero. This has been your boy Metatron on how you refine your metallic Merkaba mentality by connecting with your individual imagination, separating from the universe by water fasting, and truly even dry fasting when you get to those levels, because that's what I'm talking about actually as Enoch, especially the transformation of Enoch into Metatron. We're talking about dry fasting. We're talking about like breathing, like actual breatharian levels. And then yeah, drinking water, because water is the ability to connect. Again, it's just all about, it's the context. It truly is contextual. Water is essential. Just know that air is water. The fact that we are connected to anything at all is the water, the feeling that actually makes the universe, that actually makes your body, that actually makes any particle that you can observe matter. AKA, your feelings matter. Much love. Peace.